Eastern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley.
And I'm Olivia Calfee. President Joe Biden expressed optimism today that the U.S. will not default on the nation's debt for the first time in history. But whether or not that happens now rests with Congress.
A vote on the compromise legislation to raise the debt ceiling in exchange for spending cuts is expected tonight. CBS's Skylar Henry has more from Capitol Hill.
When asked about the debt ceiling deal ahead of his trip to Colorado, President Biden said things are going as planned.
God willing, by the time I land, the Congress will have acted, the House will have acted, and we'll be one step closer.
It's going to take the centrists from both parties to pass the bill because some lawmakers on the right and left have already said they'll vote no.
I think Republicans need to own this vote. This was their deal. This was their negotiations.
You can cut spending, you can cap spending, but until we change the way we do business and rein in government, nothing will ever change.
That's your only...
That is why I'm a no.
Right now, leaders in both parties are saying that at the end of the day, they will muster enough votes to pass the bill through the House.
You're not going to solve this problem just with one party. Look, we're close in numbers and everywhere else, and I think this is a problem for all of America. This is a place that both parties should actually come together. If the bill clears the House, it will then be up to the Senate.
I cannot stress enough that we have no margin for error.
When this agreement reaches the Senate, I'll be proud to support it without delay.
The Treasury Secretary says if the debt ceiling doesn't get raised, the country will run out of money to pay its bills June 5th. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
So far, nobody has said whether they will put up procedural roadblocks, which could drag out the amount of time it takes to bring it up for a vote in the Senate.
If the debt limit deal passes, people who have federal student loan debt will have to start making payments again. The Biden administration paused payments during the pandemic and has extended it 8 times. But a provision in the debt ceiling agreement says the pause will end in late August, and 44 million people will have to resume payments. There is some concern the process may not go smoothly. Millions of borrowers could have a different servicer handling the loans since the last time they made a payment. Student loan experts recommend people reach out to their loan servicer as soon as possible to make sure their next payment gets to the right place on time.
Well, it's been a rather nice day for most out there. Plenty of sunshine, just some fair weather clouds, but we continue to watch the possibility for a couple of little pop-ups this evening. There's the view like we were talking about Buffalo Mountain and Perry County. The birds out this afternoon. 81 the current reading there. 72 UVA-wise. Few more clouds out there. They're also the usual cooler spot as some of those clouds try to billow up into showers and storms. Most of us in the low to mid 80s right now. A few upper 70s in parts of the region. We'll continue to see those dew points in the middle and upper 50s to lower 60s, making it feel a little muggy, but overall pretty handleable out there. A couple of downpours, not far one of them from downtown Somerset, but that's about it at this point. Your forecast first through the evening, we'll continue to see those temperatures drop from the 80s into the 70s and eventually those middle 60s as we clear things out by midnight. I'll have the very latest, though, on when we return to some more summer-like heat and perhaps one more chance for a couple of pop-up storms as we head into tomorrow. Those details in a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. The number of available jobs went up unexpectedly in April, and that could impact whether the Federal Reserve raises interest rates yet again. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says there were more than 10 million job openings in April, which is the first increase in 3 months. The May jobs report is due out on Friday, and the Fed will look at that closely before its next interest rate decision on June 14th. If it comes in hotter than expected, some believe there will be another interest rate increase. Even though the number of available jobs went up, the economy, inflation, and lingering effects of the pandemic has led many businesses to turn to layoffs as a survival method.
One website that tracks tech layoffs since COVID-19 says more than 650 tech companies have laid off a combined 191,000 employees so far this year. In this Watching Your Wallet, consumer investigator Carice Jackman shares steps you can take to save money if you find yourself out of a job.
It's an announcement you don't want to hear. You've been let go.
More than 160,000 tech workers found themselves in that situation last year, according to layoff tracker website layoffs.fyi. That number could double this year, as nearly 200,000 tech employees have been laid off in just the first 4 months of 2023. Being laid off can leave you wondering what happens next or how you'll pay your bills.
So the first thing we have to do is not panic.
Mark Henry with Alloy Health Wealth Management says getting the news about a layoff will no doubt dampen your mood. But he says you can't let that feeling linger. Dust yourself off and start searching. Henry says the first thing you should do is get online, update your resume, and network.
Remember, your social network can be one of the best things to do.
Next, make sure you apply for unemployment. Then, take a good look at your budget and spending plan.
This is when we have to go back to paying sometimes the minimum payments on debt. Let's categorize the debt of what has to be paid and what doesn't have to be paid. Let's make good decisions with our use of our dollars.
That advice isn't just for those who have been laid off. Inflation has increased the prices of many goods and services. It's why Melanie McGovern with the Better Business Bureau says knowing when and where to cut your expenses is important.
If you're making minimum payments for so long, you're never going to pay off your balance. So again, budgeting 101 is the best way people can go, seeing what you have in your house, meal planning, taking a look inside that closet, thinking, do I really need new clothes or can I get by with what I have?
Also, take a close look at things you have on autopay that you don't necessarily need.
Take a look at your subscription services. Do you use them all? Are you not using any of them? That is a really great way to cut because those are just things that maybe be on autopay that you forget about.
Tips that'll get you through a rough time while you search for your next opportunity. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Carice Jackman.
Henry also says the job market is still doing well, so if you have been laid off, consider getting a temporary job to get by for the time being.
Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie will run for president again. At least that's what 3 sources familiar with his plans are saying. They say Christie will make the announcement next Tuesday at a town hall in New Hampshire. Christie first tried to get the Republican nomination back in 2016. He has been an outspoken critic of former president and fellow candidate Donald Trump.
Former Vice President Mike Pence is also set to launch his 2024 presidential campaign. 2 sources familiar with the plan say he will do so on June 7th. They say the announcement will include a video and a speech in Iowa. CNN is set to hold a town hall with Pence the same evening in Des Moines.